that's here tonight.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining me. So this is the second episode of Crochet Shenanigans. Not the most original name. I picked it because it sounds like Shannon. So, uh, but this is where I get to talk to some of my yarny friends and maybe make a few new ones and just see kind of what shenanigans they have been up to in the crochet world. If you do not know Kristen, she is Kristen Crochets, and she is super fun. She is just great to talk to, and she's very talented at crochet. And she is here tonight, and we can talk about whatever crochet related, but we do want to focus a little bit on temperature blankets because we can talk about this later, but I've had disastrous results with temperature blankets, and Kristen has had a lot better results than me. So that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit. I see Donna Loves Yarn is here. Hello.
Hi.
Christy from Northern California. Lisbeth is from Iowa. She's an Iowa girl like me. Sydney, Sweet Pea Sid. Hello.
Hi.
So yeah, this is I haven't done a live on a Friday night. So a lot of times I am super tired and like a little bit like goofy because of the whole work week. So, you normally see edited Shannon and the goofiness gets cut out, but, you're probably gonna be
Mhm.
subjected to a little bit of that tonight.
Well, and you've never seen unedited Kristen, so we'll see how that goes.
Hello, Betty Lou from
Hi.
Massachusetts. It seems like we have a lot of coast girls here.
Yep. It's cool to see where everybody's from.
It
So many
really
different
is.
places. Oh, fellow
Oh,
Kentuckian. Hi, Brittany.
that seems like such a pretty area, so I have never been there.
Mhm.
Christy says we're all goofy on Friday. Yes, thank goodness it's not just me. It's just I feel like I kind of like filter myself all week, and then by the end of the week I lose my capacity to kind of put up the filter, and it just bleh.
Yep. And this late at well, I guess for you it's not that late, it's 7:30, but, like, I'm thinking anytime past 8, like, I don't know what might happen with
Yes,
me.
well, and so that is another thing. I do want to respect your time because I do appreciate you doing this according to my schedule. And so, for I mean, you guys on Eastern time already know it's 8:30 for Kristen. She's got two kiddos she's got to still deal with tonight. So we are
Well,
gonna
actually, thankfully, they're with my mom tonight, so
oh my gosh. Well, then you'll probably go to bed early. It'll be like a quiet
probably,
night.
probably actually get good sleep and not have a 5-year-old end up in my bed at 3 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I do want to respect your time and just make sure we keep this about an hour or less so that you
Mhm.
can get on and you're not up all night long. So it looks
It
like
is a
we've
date
got
night.
we've
But
got
we had a date. We
Deborah.
went out to, a Korean place
Oh,
locally,
cool.
and it was really good. It was, like, really authentic Korean place, so it
We
was nice.
There are not a lot of great like there's some good restaurants in Iowa, but I will not say we
Mhm.
are not known for our food here. Like there's some good food, but I guess actually our strength would be Mexican food. Like we
Yeah.
have in our area tons of Hispanic immigrants and
Oh, but yeah.
like that's honestly the best food, the best
Yeah.
restaurants around here. Like you would think we would have great steakhouses and stuff like that
Mhm.
since this is like, you know, Iowa. Cows? Nope.
Yeah.
No, not our food is not our strong point.
Yeah, my area doesn't have a ton of like, we have a lot of chain
Okay.
restaurants, but not a lot of, like, cool, like, hole in the wall places, but this is one of those places, so it was really cool to
Okay.
actually go somewhere like that.
Yeah.
We don't do that very often.
It's hard to make time.
Yes, it sure is.
Lisbeth, this is like my go-to hat that I make all the time. That one from Little John's yarn. It's like the slouchy granny. It looks super goofy when I'm holding it up like this. But this is just big twist yarn. Just big twist value. And I really like it. Like it's got a good squish to it. And I gotta
I love
I
that
gotta
color.
I have to clean house with some of my hats. Like a lot of them were made while I was learning to crochet and they were like colors that I'm not really vibing with and don't go with my clothes.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I'm just kind of slowly working those out.
I really like that one. Those, like,
Thank
burnt
you.
oranges, like, I think, like, the shirt you had on
Yeah.
last night, that color,
Yes.
that looks
I'm
good on you
really
with
into
the
the
dark
burnt
hair.
oranges right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is cinnamon, I believe is what this one was called.
I
So
love it.
Donna says lot of Mexican food. Oh, Missouri. Yeah, that makes sense. That
Mhm.
makes sense. Yeah.
You know, we honestly have a ton of Mexican restaurants here too.
Do ya?
Mhm. Yeah, a lot. Even in the small town, like our county seat, it's
Mhm.
called Brandenburg, and there's probably at 3 there, and it's a tiny little town. So it's like it's yep, they're all over the
We
place.
we just got, like, the weirdest combination. So, I have not been there, but the town is and keep in mind, the town I'm talking about is, like, where we work. There's, like,
Yeah.
maybe 3,500 people population, but we got an ice cream store now,
Mhm.
and so they sell ice cream and beef. So, like, you can't, like, get like, it's beef that you buy, so
Yeah,
the owners, they have cattle, so you can get, like you can pick up, like, a
fresh.
frozen steak
Yeah, that's
or, like,
cool.
refrigerated jerky while you're getting
Mhm.
your ice cream.
I
Super
feel like that's
weird, but
no, I get it because I feel like that would be something that would open up around here too.
ice cream and beef. Yeah, you
Yep.
know. So, yeah, it looks like we're actually getting quite a few here in the chat, so
Yep.
thank you. It is odd, Sid, but, you gotta go with what works, right? So, just real briefly, for anybody who doesn't know, I thought I was being super original and I thought I was being super clever, and I decided I was going to do individual granny squares for every month of the year. So 12. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna do, like, 3 across and 4 down or 4 across and 3 down. I didn't really have that thought out, but I thought, "Okay, so Iowa can be super cold and super hot. Why don't I do the average low and the average high per day?" And I'll hold 2 strands together, that way I can be super accurate, and, number 1, my squares turned out to be giant, even though I was using 2 weight Hirschner's Afghan yarn. The square was still like 18 inches by 18 inches for 1 month. So I was like, this right there, there's a problem. And then it was super, super boring. I really struggled with the detail. I struggled with, even though it's easy, I struggled with like looking up the dates and writing the dates down. And then um, since it was like a multi-string project, I felt like I couldn't move my project around the house. I had to leave it up here in my yarn room, which is a guest room, and it's super cold. So in January, when I was starting the blanket, I was freezing up here. So it was like a whole bunch of obstacles, and I was not loving it. I finished January, I got halfway through February, and then I was like, "I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it." And then I think in like, maybe September, I was like, "I'm calling it. I'm done. I'm giving up. Like, I'm I'm admitting that I hate this and I am moving on and using the yarn for other stuff. So you have been a lot more successful, but I know you did also have a video, and I
Mhm.
did link to your playlist in the description box here. So if anybody wants to check that out, you did say you are a little bit behind on yours.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm still in August of last year, actually.
Okay. Okay.
But, uh, but I decided not to give up on it because I definitely went through those periods where I was like, "Am I gonna finish this?" But I decided that I am, even if it takes me the rest of this year to do, because I
Yeah.
love it, and I love, thankfully, like, where you had issues loving what you chose to do and it just didn't work out
Hmm.
exactly how you thought. Thankfully, mine has worked out and even better than I thought. It's just I get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over again, even though there's new colors and I chose variegated yarn, so, like, it's the blanket's really fun and has a lot of pops
Hmm.
of color, so I don't get bored color-wise, it's just the monotony of doing the moss stitch. I chose the moss stitch. So doing the moss stitch
Oh,
over and over and over and over and
yeah.
over, I'm that kind of person, it's hard for me to follow through with that at one time, but I do want to finish it for sure, and I plan to. I will finish it.
You will. You
Mhm.
will.
And
But
I
I
go through
think
those
that
phases where I've been working on it lately because, I love to do amigurumi. I love to make cardigans, like I've really enjoyed
mhm,
wearables. But that's something you really have to focus and, look at your pattern. Whereas like the temperature blanket for me now is very mindless. So
yeah.
it's something I can pick up and just work on while we're watching a movie or something like that. So I'm still very invested in it. I just haven't got it done as quickly as I wanted to.
But the reality is, I think that, in our minds, we think, "Okay, it's every day of the year, or every week, or whatever," and
Mhm.
then, like, you're forcing yourself into the confines of that year, and
Yeah.
there's really no reason it could take you 10 years, and who cares,
Mhm.
really, in the
Right.
end, if you finished it, that's
Mhm.
all that matters. And, yeah, I
Yeah.
know you had written down, and you can look up on that, like, Wonderground website what any
Yes.
historical
Mhm.
date
Yep.
was, so it's not as if you're like, you have the information, so there's really
Yes.
no need to force yourself to do it in that time frame.
Right. Right, and that's what I put out a short earlier today of a litlittle edit of that
I
video I had
saw
put out
that.
recently, and I thought, that is like, I feel like for me, I need that encouragement of, like, not because it's easy to feel like you failed if you don't get it
Mhm.
done in that year, if you're
Yes.
not doing your last row on December 31st, it can feel
Yes.
like you're failing,
Yep.
but, it's not. So I do wanna encourage anybody who does have a temperature blanket from last year or the year before or 10 years ago. You can
Mhm.
go on Wonderground and get those temperatures from past years, and it still is a memory for you. You can think of
Yeah.
things that happened in that year that that blanket will remind you of, and, it's still gonna be beautiful at the end. Nobody probably that walked into your house and saw this beautiful blanket is gonna think, "That's from 2011 weather, temperature," so, like, it's just gonna be beautiful anyway,
Yes.
so it doesn't matter if you
Well,
completed in
and
that
that's
year.
that's another good point too. Unless it's another fellow crocheter coming into
Right.
your house, they're probably not even gonna know what it is, or they've
Exactly.
never even heard of a temperature blanket. So
Mhm. Yeah, but I also will say if you're not enjoying it, just like with any project, there's
Mhm.
no problem with stopping it either, just like
Yeah.
Shannon did. It's not worth completing something that you're not enjoying working on unless it's for somebody. If you promised them you'd make them a temperature blanket, you probably should follow through with that. But if it's just for you, it's okay to quit too, but it's also
Yeah.
okay if you don't get it done in the year you plan to get it done.
I
Because
think
you'll just
some
join the crowd with me.
I think some of my disappointment was I had put a lot of effort into, like, deciding my colors, and they were all
Mhm.
very, like, Shannon colors, and
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm not doing traditional temperature," and
Mhm.
I took so much time, and I made a little chart on Canva, and then, um, I spent, like, $70 in Afghan yarns, and these things are only $1.99 a piece, so that's a
Yeah.
lot of these, and so I
Yeah.
thought, oh my gosh, like, which is fine because I turns out I love working with that yarn and I have
Yeah.
used it in like so many
Mhm.
projects. Um, I've kind of thought to myself, like, you could turn my videos into that drinking game where like you take a shot every time somebody says a word and it would be Hirschner's Afghan yarn.
Yeah.
So
Well, I will say, like, you've made me wanna try it, that's for sure.
there is like the way they made them. I've got two right here, and I don't know if you can see the label right here where it's got these squares on it.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is the older stuff, and this is not as
Mhm.
nice as, this newer one where it's got the little arches on it.
Mhm.
The one with the arches on it is phenomenally softer, so, that's the thing where if you've tried it before 5 years ago or
Mhm.
4 years ago or whatever, and you didn't like it, give it another shot with these new ones. It is completely different, like, they're wound different, the construction's a little bit different, like, similar but different,
Mhm.
like, it's clearly a different supplier,
And
so
there's a lot of colors, right, to choose
oh
from?
my gosh, yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I swear there's like 30 or something like that.
Mhm.
So,
And that's always
um
good to find a
mhm.
yarn that has just that many color options. And then is Hirschner's pretty good with shipping cost?
No. So, um, I only order from Hirschner's when there is a shipping code, and they routinely do free shipping with a $35 order. So
Mhm.
I will just kinda know what I like and I will hold
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
because, they send, like, multiple emails a day, like, it's a bit much, um, but I so Hirschner's is in Illinois. No, sorry, they're in Wisconsin, and
Mhm.
I'm in Iowa, and it's pretty quick, but it cost me, like, $12 like, with the one time I ordered it
Mhm.
without free shipping, so to me, that seems kinda high, and then I've scoured the internet before for like, a discount code, and it'll be, like,
Mhm.
20% off your order, so then I'm, like, trying to mathematically figure
Yeah.
out how to get $12 off my order to get to, like, counteract the shipping. Because in my
Yeah.
mind, then I'm like, "Okay, it's, like, free shipping," so
Mhm. And,
but
were you the one that said Joanne? Like, if you add something to your cart, like, on Joanne's app or website, that they'll send you a coupon, like,
yeah, like,
24 hours later?
it hasn't happened every time, but,
Mhm.
yeah, so one of my last orders from there or the last order I had some in my cart and I abandoned it because I do that routinely.
I
I
do
do think it's
too.
kind of a good process to walk away and then see if you
Mhm.
still want it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, then they had sent me to, my email, they had sent a 25% off coupon, but it wasn't like a normal coupon code, it was like
Mhm.
a 20 or 30 digit and letter thing, so it
Yeah.
was super annoying to have to, like, go in, cut and paste, put it in there, and then, to go from my email to the app because it did not automatically transfer over.
Oh, yeah.
So, I did have to go in and add it, but
Mhm.
it
But
was
hey,
worth yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'll be annoyed for 2 minutes to get
Yeah.
25% off my order.
Exactly, and it's kind of a hack because it's like, if they do that almost every time, and it's a little
Yeah.
bit more than what their normal coupons would be, or you get it in
Mhm.
addition to those normal coupons, that's pretty pretty good.
It is. So, Sid, I must have missed part of the conversation here, but Sid is saying ice yarns the same way, yarn for fairly cheap, but the shipping is outrageous. I haven't ever ordered from Ice Yarn. I would like to. I have been on the website and looked at stuff and put stuff in a cart like 100 times and then never checked out.
That's how I've been. Yeah,
I was
same thing.
stalking I stalked them a little bit and I saw that you can order off of Etsy from them. No, eBay. Sorry, it was eBay.
Mhm.
And it was like you could order the yarn and it was the pack and then it told you on there how much the shipping was and the shipping was less than ordering from the website because then I brought up the website and added the same thing to my cart, to compare.
Yeah.
So the shipping was less on eBay, but the yarn cost more. And then on the website, the yarn was less and the shipping was more. So
Do you remember there was someone who had those ice yarn mystery boxes? Do you remember those?
yes,
I can't
yes.
remember the name of the
It's
shop. I know
the
she only does it seasonally,
Yep,
but
the yarn nut.
yes.
So, from what I understand, because she was pretty nice emailing me about
Mhm.
everything, I believe she's supposed to be starting it back up this spring, and I think that, like, this part of the year, you can order specific things of ice yarn from her website.
Well,
I
that's
think
yeah,
the mystery box was kind of like her wrapping up the end of the year and wanting to get rid of leftover supplies and stuff. But
yeah.
I I appreciated it. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
all the yarns I got aren't really ones that are like, you know, that
Right.
like they're not necessarily ones I would have purchased,
Yeah.
but I liked being exposed to it and at
Mhm.
least seeing like what the quality was
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter like how many skeins of yarn I buy. I still sometimes am confused by like yardage and then I'm like, why is this so small?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go grab my temperature blanket, and I'll give
Yes,
everybody who's on a sneak peek of what I've worked on since my last update. It's, like, right over
that
there. I
would
should
be
have grabbed it
awesome.
before we started this, but I was not prepared.
That's all right. Yeah, I am so excited you guys are here and spending Friday with us. I do appreciate it. I know like Friday is kind of a night where I like to just, unwind. So I thank you very much for giving us your time tonight. So it looks like, Kristen, you have on your hexagon cardi there.
I
Super
do.
cute. And
I always
that's party yarn, right?
Yes, the party yarn, mhm, and I always love wearing this to work. I work at a school, for those who don't know, a primary school, and, all the kids are like, "Did you make that?" And they love it because it's so bright and colorful, and so I love wearing this one. Okay, so the way that I do mine is I use this old planner, and I put down, like hopefully you can see that. The temperature, so I'm doing the high every day, and then I put the color down for what I'm supposed to do that day, and I'll do that for a whole month, and then I just check off or mark off what like, when I do a row. But
So
here
that
yeah,
would have been smart to write down the color too, because I wrote down some of my days, but then I still had to refer to my chart where
yeah,
that would have like relieved one obstacle, just having that written there, easy to see.
yes, it helps a lot. And then so here, let's see, the last time I checked in, I think I had just completed July, so I've done about over half of August at this point. So quite a few more rows since you all have seen it
Oh
last.
yeah, I don't think I've seen
But
any of the bright yellow.
there's and then coming up after I have a couple more rows and then there'll be a lot more of those 90-degree colors. So that would be like this orangey red right here. So there's going to be a pretty big little section of that on top. So I'm kind of anxious to see how that's going to look, but
Yeah, it will
there
be interesting.
it will, because there's some bands of it, and it kind of flows.
Hmm.
I
It
kinda like
does.
it,
It
but
does.
it's interesting to see, here in the middle, you have a lot of the white showing through, and then down here, there's, like, a lot of purple and green. So it's really cool, even though I use variegated yarn, to see how it's changed
Hmm.
throughout time. Because I
Because
didn't
you
know
can see the change.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd be able to or not using variegated, because traditionally, when you do a temperature blanket, you would do, like,
The
the
Roy G.
traditional
Biv color.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and so it's very noticeable, whereas on this, I wasn't sure, but it's really cool that you can tell that there's been a change in temperature, so
And that
I
definitely does seem summery where you're at right now.
Yes, and so there'll be, this big chunk in the middle that'll look a lot like this. I think amber honey, which is this yellowish color with the blue in it, that's gonna make up the most of it made up the most of June, July, August, and probably part of September because we had a pretty hot September. So that'll be like the middle, section of the blanket, and then I assume we'll get back into more of this kind of
Yeah.
color, and then at the end here. Now, there is one color that I never got to use and won't get to use because we never got below it, but,
Oh,
um,
you didn't get cold
let's
enough.
see. No, so it was here's my little cardboard jar, but, it's this one, 10 degrees or below. So we never used this, like, plum color, which
Okay.
I'm sad about because I love that one. But, yeah, so there's what it's looking like so
I would
far.
have used a lot of that color where I live.
Yes. I was surprised, a lot of times actually, what's funny is I think right in January, like, right at the beginning of the year, we had some really cold temperatures. It got down to, like, negative degrees, and so I'm like, "Dang it, I wish that would have been in December so I coulda used that color."
You know what? You could just throw one in there. Nobody would know except
That's true.
all of us on this live.
That's true.
I did
But
just
I
want to
think
say real quick hello to Megan and hello to Claire.
Hi. Yeah, but you can see, like, the colors, because it's variegated, that's one thing I think that has helped keep me wanting to continue on with it because I never get bored with the colors.
Yeah.
It's just doing
Well,
that same moss stitch over and over.
but I can see where it adds a different aspect because with it being variegated, you're like,
Mhm.
how will this play out? Where
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, now I'm doing one more orange and one more cream
right.
together for the eighth row, and it just
Yes. Yeah, and
wasn't
what's cool
exciting.
is you can actually see, I mean, I don't guess you'd call it color pulling, but it's like when you have those big chunks of the same color over and over and
Hmm.
over again, it does create, I don't know if you can tell here, this whole band right here, this thick, like, yellow, and then it goes into the blue. It kind
Hmm.
of has like a color pulling effect in a way,
Yep.
like a
Yep.
pattern, I guess. So I really think that's kind of neat to see too with variegated yarn.
It is. It really is. I know, like, I had watched a couple of your videos and I was like, there was several of those that I was just in love with. And probably my favorite out of your blanket is the what is it called? Cedarwood sage, I think. Is that it?
Um, it's cinnamon cedar.
Cinnamon cedar.
Yep.
Sorry.
I
So
was
I
trying to
bought it.
remember because I knew you had liked that one. Yeah,
Yes.
it's cinnamon cedar.
So I have bought it in like in the worsted. I bought it in they have it in a chunky, they have it in cotton. So
Yep.
I've bought it in all of those and it's just
Mhm.
it's Shannon colors. I love
Yes.
it.
I remember that video you did, and I actually never realized that until I watched your video.
Mhm.
I guess I knew it subconsciously, because I'm like, "Oh, that color looks familiar, and that name sounds familiar," but I, like, never
Mhm.
put 2 and 2 together. But that's really cool that they do that.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, and I didn't discover this, I had seen it on Ashley from A Crafty Concept. She does videos for people who sell finished crochet pieces. So she does like marketing advice and stuff like that. And she had said, like, if you go to Hobby Lobby, they have the same yarn in different weights. So if you do like one, or you're doing different, like, say you want to use the same color scheme on different projects that require different yarns. Not all of them, but a good number of them have like the chunky and the cotton along with the worsted. So, yeah, if you've got a favorite, check it out there. You
Well,
might be
and
pleased.
the scrubby yarn, right? Some of it has the scrubby.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
That was surprising to me. I thought that was cool that they did that because they
mhm,
don't offer, well, I guess they do have quite a bit of scrubby yarn now,
they
Hobby
do.
Lobby.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that's cool that they did that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to, I do those scrubbies, with the scrubby yarn and the cotton yarn.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have to, like,
Yes.
get some coordinating ones for that. I hadn't thought about
Yeah.
doing that. That'd be
Yeah, if
cool.
you guys don't know, Kristen, she has a really great, it's not her tutorial, but
Mhm.
a really great
Yep.
scrubby. And I have used it. She sent it to me and it works up fast. It works up
Mhm.
quick. And it doesn't really use a lot of yarn
Not at
either.
all, no.
So,
And it's, Cute as a Button Crochet and Crafts, I think is the name of the creator, and now she has a circular, version. So that's
Oh,
cool.
okay.
And then I will also say about those, like, you can put any scrubby and any cotton yarn together, any color, and it never turns out ugly. Like, every single one I've done has turned out really, really cool, like, with the color combinations. So it's something you can use what you have. You don't have to go out and
And
buy
buy
specific colors.
specific.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it doesn't take much at all. I mean, you could probably take a skein of scrubby, a skein of cotton, and make maybe 10 of them, maybe more.
Mhm.
So that's always nice. I thought about
I
doing some of those for market when I do that market
Oh,
in June.
yep.
It's like, that'd be a really good one, I think.
Mhm. I saw on, I think it might have been Instagram today, somebody was selling at a market, I think they called them car coasters. So it was like a cotton coaster that you stick down in your cup holders in your
Oh, yeah.
car, and I
Mhm.
was like, "That's clever."
That is cool. So, comment here, Yarn Barf, I love that name.
I
She
do too,
said
I love that so much.
you all are blessed with yarn availability. I live in rural I can't say that word. Y'all are gonna laugh at me. Rural.
Rural.
Every time, like, that's the one word I cannot say. Like, you every me and my husband call rural king, like, royal king, because we can't say it. But she said she lives in Canada, so the only place she can get yarn is Walmart, and it's terrible, and that
Oh,
would be horrible. I've noticed,
yeah,
like, our I don't even buy yarn at Walmart anymore unless, like, it's the Mainstays brand and it's,
yep,
something that's basic that I need, and so I couldn't imagine only having
yeah,
that. And she said, "Do
yeah.
you live near Aberdeen's?" Have you heard of that?
I've never heard of it.
I haven't either.
I know, like,
Mm-mm.
Yarnspirations, aren't they a
Oh, Donna said
Canadian?
that. Donna loves yarn. I guess she's talking to Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay.
That's it. I was like, "Hold on." I get it now.
I had done a order from, so I had seen Kim from Affordably Crafty. Okay, I'm gonna interrupt myself. Does anybody know what happened to Kim from Affordably Crafty? Like, she hasn't
Oh,
posted in like 4 months, and, but I don't I just don't know what happened, so I'm just curious if you know. I mean, I enjoyed
yeah.
watching her videos.
Yeah, I
Um,
hadn't noticed. Um,
mhm,
that is
but
surprising. Sid said it's the Appalachian accent. I get it.
Sydney
Oh
can't
my
say
gosh,
rural
I'm so
either.
glad someone gets it because 'cause I'm like, I cannot. Like, I live in rural Kentucky, and I can't say it. Oh my gosh. It's so funny. Also, who's the guy that so Bag O'Day shouted him out, John Boy. Do you remember when John Boy
Yeah, he
what happened
disappeared
to him?
too.
He
I saw
started
that.
doing, like, Tupperware stuff, and then, like, he was gone. So I'm
Well,
like,
that's the thing, like, his channel blew up, and then there was, like, a hat that everybody was doing, so I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna go find this." Couldn't find his
yep,
channel anywhere. It's like he deleted the
yes.
whole
Yeah,
thing.
the whole channel's gone, which is
Mhm.
he was from Kentucky, I remember that, but,
Okay.
that's it's always whenever people disappear like that, you worry about them.
I
It's like,
know.
"What
I
happened?"
know.
Oh, Sid said he has a new channel.
Okay. Is it Yarn Still Sid, or is it something else? Do you know? Oh, he might have gotten sick. Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
She said, like, trying to say oil or fire. I always love to hear different people's accents, like, that is so fascinating to me. We always make fun of my mom, and even though, like, she's my mom and we're from the same area, the way she says boiled eggs, like, I make fun of her every time. So she says boiled, like boiled eggs,
Bold.
boiled, and she does say she says "warsh."
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Iowa people say "warsh."
Mhm.
Um, one
Do
of my
y'all say
friends,
"y'all" in
we
Iowa?
don't say "y'all." I mean,
You don't?
people say it, but not like say it like it's something we normally do.
Just like I
Um,
did, do y'all say y'all?
I feel like we do a lot of like "you guys," like "you
Mhm.
guys." Um, I don't know. My daughter makes fun of me because of words with O's in them. So,
It's like
like, the one word that she hates that I say would be, like, ghost. Like,
So you
I don't
you
know.
sound like more of a Canadian, like,
No,
accent with that.
my O's go weird, like goats, go ghosts, stuff like that, and it drives her nuts. And I don't know why I do that. So,
That's funny, we got so off topic from temperature blankets, but I'm just so fascinated. I think just seeing where everybody's from, like, it's
yes.
I love, like, thinking I don't know, I just love what I'll ask people randomly, like, "How do you what do you call the thing you push around in a grocery store?" Just to
That it
see what they say.
well, in Iowa, that's a cart.
Yeah, we
A
called it
shop.
cart too, but more of, like, the older people in Kentucky, I feel like they call it a buggy,
I
but
think
now
S
we
I
say cart.
think Sydney says buggy. Sydney,
Does
do you
she?
say buggy? Like, I swear, and I think Erica from It's Time for Yarn, I think she says buggy too.
There was another one, someone asked, "Oh, crayon," or, like, "How do you say crayon?"
I've heard that too, 'cause it's a crayon, it's not a
Yeah.
crayon?
So,
Crayon?
if I try to say crayon, I say crayon, but if I'm saying it like normal, I say crayon. I know I
That's
do.
funny.
Or like and so this is a funny one. What is on, what do you call, like, the things that are on, like, butterflies up here or
An
caterpillars or ants?
antennas? What
That's
is
what
it
they're supposed
really?
to be called, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what it's actually supposed to be, but I say antenna.
Oh,
That's what we all say, like, antenna. Put the antenna on top of the TV. I don't know.
that's
Like
funny.
people have those anymore. Uh,
I have an antenna on top of my house, but
so Woodshed Theory, she said, "Cart or buggy, you can call it whatever you want as long as it's full of yarn."
yes, yes. Yeah,
That's funny.
Massachusetts, you guys have, like, a famous accent, like, I always think of,
Yeah.
like, Good Will Hunting, like, that whole movie, like, that's what I think of when I think of Massachusetts, which is
Mhm.
probably a gross stereotype, like, probably nobody sounds like that, but that's what I always think of.
Mhm.
So any other I'm excited because I got a package in the mail today and I kind of treated myself a little bit. A year ago, I purchased some drops yarn from Laughing Hens in the UK. And so I just ordered some more drops, but I ordered it from Wool Warehouse. So I am going to do a video like comparing those two places because like I have seen Crystal from Bag a Day order from Wool Warehouse 100 times, but she's a giant channel and I am a
Mhm.
tiny channel, and her yarn budget is vastly different than my budget. So, um, I want to like put it out there and like kind of let you know like what the shipping was like what the exchange rate, like that type of stuff was. And when I ordered some of my yarn a year ago, I did not order enough of the different skeins to like do projects. So I tried to order a little bit more so I can use up what I had. But so I'm excited because I got that. That's I'm gonna do soon. And then I have next week my collab with Litza from Coco's Crochet, where we're upcycling items. So
Oh, yeah, that's
that
cool.
it's been fun, but here's the thing, I feel kinda crappy because, so she's in Australia, and their thrift store situation is not the same as it is in the States. Like, she went to a bunch of them, and basically they were, like, the same price as normal new goods, and it was just, like, basically a donation to whatever
Right.
charity was running it. So I was like, "Ooh," I kind of felt bad, but then we were like, "You can thrift it from your closet if it's something that, you're just not wearing."
Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited to see what she's doing, but yeah, I do kind of feel a little bit bad that it was way harder for her than I thought it was gonna be.
It's kinda like I mean, we definitely have, thrift stores that are you can find good priced items around here, but do you all have Peddler's Mall? Were
No, but
you
I wish I did.
So, we love Peddler's Mall, but it's kinda one of those things, like, don't go in and really expect to get great deals on most things. Like, I
Okay.
do get, like, books and stuff there. There are things you can find that are cheaper, but for the
Okay.
most part, everything in there is a lot of antiques, so, of course, those are gonna be priced higher, but then more people have brought in stuff like, furniture that they build or,
Okay.
different stuff that is gonna be higher ticketed, so, we love Peddler's Mall, but it's kind of that it's not
Getting
really
priced out.
right, yeah. It's not like a thrift store where you go in and think, "I'm gonna get some great deals here." Like, usually only on select things will you get good deals.
Mhm.
But do you all have, like, a certain type of store like Peddler's Mall? Like a chain
Mm-mm.
type store where you're at? Okay.
No. There's, like, random privately owned, like, antique malls with, like, where a bunch of different vendors have put
Yeah.
stuff up, but no, nothing like that.
Mhm. I just wondered.
Yeah. It's becoming, estate sale season around here now that it's warming up, so that is my jam. Like,
Yeah.
I love looking through people's all their treasures. Like, I
Yeah.
love digging. I'm like, "Yes, I want to see every book you've collected since
Mhm.
1978."
I do love yard sales too. We have this one, Highway 60 yard sale is what it's called, but Highway 60, like, I don't even know how many states or how far it, like, stretches through, but, there's I think on October, they have this huge yard sale where, like, people set up all along that road just for miles and miles and miles and miles, and so that's pretty cool.
Have you bought yarn at yard sales?
Um, I would, but I've never seen yarn at a yard sale as of yet, which is crazy, which I don't do a ton of
Mhm.
yard sales. Lately, I haven't been to as many, even the last few years, I haven't.
Okay.
So I haven't really looked for any, but,
I
do you
have
see it
not
a lot?
I have looked, like, anytime like, I will look, and, I have not had a lot of success. Like, I've been to a couple where, um, they have a few random skeins, and it's, like, stuff that I know is, like, older discontinued Hobby Lobby, and it's
Yeah,
not enough to really make anything, and then they still want, like, $4 for it.
yeah,
Um, I was at one, like, maybe 2 years ago, and there was, whomever it was, she was a crafter, and there was probably 200, latch hook kits, which I don't do latch hook, but, I mean, there was honest to God, like, 200 of them, and she did have regular yarn, but when I picked it up, she had, like, bins. It was like a $3 bin, a $2 bin, and a $1 or something like that, and I was digging, but it smelt pretty smoky, but not all of them. So then I was, like, trying to be inconspicuous, and I was, like, picking up the yarn and then pretending I was, like, seeing how soft it was, but I was really, like
I don't blame
and
you, because you don't want stinky yarn.
no, no, it's not worth it for the bargain, but,
No.
I was trying to and then I had a friend with me, and she's not a yarny person, so she thought I was just nuts for sniffing somebody's yarn, but
That's funny. So, Betty Lou said her job is antiques and collectibles.
oh, that would be
That's
so cool. That would
Yeah,
be
see,
so cool.
I don't buy a lot of antiques, but I love to go look at antiques. I love,
Mhm.
going on, like, old home tours, historic home tours, and I love old things in
Yeah.
general. I just haven't branched into, like, collecting any, but I love to go and browse and look. My husband
I
does
am a
too.
sucker for mid-century stuff. So, um, our office building is an old house, and it's a very specific type. It's called lustrin, and they were
Mhm.
built from 48 to 50, and everything is metal. So, like, the walls are steel, the roof is steel, like, the shingles are steel, literally everything
That's
except the
interesting.
floor is steel, and it's
Mhm.
just very, like, weird and specific, and, I just really I love the look of mid-century stuff, and so that's why I just love, like, going to estate sales and stuff because 'cause I'm like, I can either put it in my house or my office, and then
Yeah.
I have a lot of, like, '70s, like, macrame type of stuff, and right now I have gone a little nuts, not a little nuts, I have gotten a few furniture pieces that are, like,
Mhm.
the '70s, like the
Yep.
velvet, the tufted velvet with the wicker, and
Mhm.
I'm loving it, and I'm very fortunate that my husband doesn't care what I'm getting,
Yeah.
like, he's not too concerned about it.
So, as when you say estate sale,
Mhm.
is that just like a yard sale, right? Like, people are just selling their stuff? Or
Yes,
is it
so
different?
it's usually when people
Someone's
have
passed
died,
away?
like,
Okay,
if yes, or
that's what I
sometimes, like,
thought
where
it was.
they've moved into a nursing home,
Yeah, so they're
and
selling,
so
like, everything,
yeah,
almost
and,
everything.
like, most of the time, it'll be, like, a company that's hired to come in, and it's not usually, like, the family,
Yeah.
but, yeah, they come in, they price everything, and, like, you go on the first day when the best stuff is there, but it's full price, and then the
Mhm.
next day, it's been picked through, but it's half price, and then you go the
Oh,
last
yeah.
day,
See, I've never
and
been to an estate sale. That would be
oh,
fu that would be fun. That
yeah,
would be
it
cool.
is I love it, I love it.
Um, Donna Loves Yarn said, "The sunlight removes odors." She said, "Trust me, I know." So that's interesting. 'Cause if you
So
just set
Donna
them in
has
front of the
also
window or
bought
something.
stinky yarn.
Yep. And then, Lisbeth said, "How's the cell phone reception with all that steel?"
It's not terrible. I mean, I'm sure it could probably be worse. Since it's my work, I've got a landline, so I mean, I will occasionally use my cell phone, but I'm not using it like as my primary thing.
Mhm.
Um, it was a pain in the butt to get a actual phone line put in there in a different place because they had to drill through steel and it was like 6 hours. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you are interested in weird mid-century stuff, it's Lustron, Lustron.
Mhm.
So like
So,
you
is it similar to those houses where, um, you could, like maybe this was more like in the '50s, but, like, basically you would order these houses and they would, it was almost like a kit,
yeah,
that
that's
you
what
could
this
build?
is. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so this was all metal, but they were a kit, and then you ordered them from, like, a supplier, like Montgomery Ward's or something, and
Mhm.
then,
That's
yeah,
so
it came
interesting.
and it was assembled on site.
That's cool. Yeah. All that kinda stuff, it's so interesting to me, like
Mhm,
old buildings and architecture. I don't know why, I've just always been obsessed with it, which I've talked about this before, but
mhm.
we live pretty close, I mean, about an hour from Louisville, and, Old Louisville, which is, like, near downtown, just a few minutes from downtown. It's the largest collection of Victorian homes in the nation, and
Yep,
so there's just street after street of these old Victorian homes, and when you go there, you just feel like you're transported back in time. It's
that
really
would be
cool.
super cool.
Mhm.
Claire's saying I need to come out there and check out all the mid-century modern out in California. I've even seen, Claire, just some of the architecture of different buildings built out there, and yeah, like, if I could get my hands on, like, a unaltered 1970s, like, I don't know, I see some, like, weird stuff on Instagram because there's always weird stuff on
Yeah.
Instagram, and you're like, and when they have these real estate listings that are just like total time capsules, like nobody ever updated the
Yeah.
house in all those years. And
It's so
yeah,
cool.
there's something about it, and I don't know what
Mhm.
it is. I was born in
Yeah.
the mid '70s, so it's not like I really remember a lot of it, but yeah, I don't know. It just speaks to me.
Yeah. And that's like me to me, it's like I love any era, but really the Victorian era, it gets me because it's not that long ago, 120, 40
Hmm.
years ago, but life was so different.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's just so crazy to walk in, a house that you just wonder life was lived so differently, and, it's just kinda mind-blowing to think about.
Like, my house that we live in, it was built in 1905,
Mhm.
and the house we had before this, it was built in 1900, and I have often thought as I am complaining because I don't have central air, we have some window
Mhm.
air conditioners strategically placed. I've often thought like, ugh, how could anyone live here before air conditioning? And, and then just to think like, okay, the middle of Iowa, this used to be like a lot of like marsh and prairie. And to think about like settlers moving here, I would not last in a tent. I would not last in a wagon, and I don't think I would last in like a log cabin. I'm
I
just
know.
I'm
They
I'm
were
too
built
soft.
different back then, I think.
Yes.
Like, we're spoiled now.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it either. I mean, that'd be rough, and with the bugs and everything too in the
Yes.
summer. I know, like,
Yes.
around here, like, there was a lot of open, like, screened-in porches and stuff, and people would sleep out there in the
Mm.
summer back in the
That would
day.
be cool. That would be cool.
Yes. It's funny, we got so off topic, but it's interesting to me.
It was, but it was good. Everything,
Yeah,
kept going. I see
yeah.
yeah, Betty Lou was saying Sears and Roebuck had housing kids, and, yeah, that's exactly the same type of thing that, my office house building is. Yeah, Elizabeth, I feel like mosquitoes are our state bird here. Like, they're giant and they're aggressive.
So, I just saw on Facebook where, do you all get cicadas in Iowa?
Mhm. Yeah, they
Okay,
are nasty,
yeah.
yes.
Well, I just saw where there's gonna be, like, 2 different, like, cause they, like, burrow underground, and then they
Mhm.
live under there for so many years. There's gonna be 2 broods come out at the same time this year, so it's gonna be, like,
Exceptionally disgusting and
cicada.
noisy.
Yes. Oh gosh. And those things when they, like, they make that little, like, weird chirpy sound, and they'll, like, fly
Mhm.
out of the trees, and it feels like they're coming right at you, and I'm like, "Oh," like, "Oh gosh,
And they're
I can't
so gross
stand."
to squish. They're so gross.
Oh, they're so just round and ugh, I
Yes.
know.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know what their predator is, but we need more of whatever eats them.
yes, they're
Unless
cicada killers.
I was gonna say,
So
unless it's bats. I don't
no,
want any more of those.
so there was actually I'm scared to death of hornets, okay? Like, that's like a I have recurring dreams about hornets, like,
Okay, but that is a reasonable fear. Those are mean and nasty
they
and
are mean.
painful.
Well, we saw these big hornet-looking bugs a couple years ago, and I ran for my life, like, I was scared to death, and my husband went back out there and took a video of them. And come to find out, they're cicada killers, and they don't really they're not aggressive at all to humans or anything, but they
Okay.
kill the cicadas, and I'm like, "Okay, I can welcome them in the yard." Yeah, it's Oh, I was gonna ask you too, what else? There was some other lightning bugs. Have you noticed, like, the decrease in lightning bugs over the last several
See,
years?
we have where I am at, we have a ton of them. And also, side note, I wanna say we also call them lightning bugs. They are not
Oh, good.
fireflies.
Yes, we don't say fireflies.
If someone in the
Yeah.
comments says fireflies, let us know who says
Yes.
that.
We used to
Um,
have, tons. I mean, I remember when I was a kid just loving to go out and catch them, and now, like, they're just sporadic, like, here and there like, we get them still, but it's for a very short period of time, and there's nowhere near as many as there used to be. It's just
yeah.
really weird.
I I feel like I would agree there probably is a decrease,
Mhm.
but, like, what's my front yard is, like, an acre of unmowed
Yeah. So
grass, like, it
that's
used to
their
be
favorite
pasture.
habitat.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really pretty, like and I wanna say if it I think it might be in June that they come out, but I'm not
Mhm. I think
100%
so.
sure. But it is beautiful because it's just, constant flickering. But I wanna say
Yes.
it might only be for a couple weeks that it's that thick, and
Yeah.
I think that I get a higher concentration because I've got such a good habitat for them.
Yeah.
We've got a couple firefly people
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, and then Sid said she would like to live in the Civil War era.
Yeah, there is some super cool stuff about that time period, but I'm
Mhm.
definitely way too soft to make it.
So, I'm
I
actually Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
No, if this is kind of off that topic, so you finish your thought.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, I've went through a couple different time periods where I have gotten a little bit, like, homesteady. So, for a
Mhm.
while, I was buying grain and grinding it to make my own bread,
That's
and
pretty
I
awesome.
it is, but it takes forever.
I'm sure.
Um, and then, like, I have gone through periods where I have just canned tons and tons of food and pickled tons and tons.
Mhm.
Um, and I enjoy it for, like, the short term, but it's hard work, and to think, like, okay, these women were tough, like, they got up
Yeah.
every day, milked a cow,
Yep.
and, like, literally were consumed with just, like, preparing food and, cleaning, the stuff for the food, and,
Yeah.
um,
I've thought
it's
about that too.
amazing.
Just like now, honestly, a lot of us, we all go through those really busy seasons, but I think we've all also had those times in our lives where there's not enough going on. Um, we have so many conveniences that
Mhm.
there's those different periods of life where there's just, not enough going on to occupy us, where back then you didn't have the luxury of free time really. It
Nope.
was everything made from scratch, everything it was harder, and it's crazy to think about.
Yes,
So
Donna,
different.
I would love your sourdough method. I tried making it once, and I think part of my problem was I started in January and it was just cold in my kitchen. So yes, I definitely need help with the sourdough.
I've seen everybody making sourdough, and I would love to do that, but, I don't know if I could keep it going. Like, I feel like I would do it for a little bit, and then I'd fall off the wagon with it, but I love sourdough, it's
Yep.
delicious.
Yes, I would 100% agree with Megan here, saying she likes her indoor plumbing and hot water.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, like, you're kind of in the country, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Do you
so
have do you have municipal water or are you on a well?
no, so we actually have county water, um,
Okay.
or city water, whatever. I think ours is, like, into the county next to us, like, we get water like, we share water with them, it's kinda weird,
Okay.
but
'Cause
yeah,
do you know
so
what
there
do
are
you know what
places,
I
though, that have wells
yeah,
around.
you know what I totally took for granted before I moved out here? So,
When your
when you
water doesn't smell like sulfur.
well, yeah, it is super eggy. It is
Mhm.
super eggy, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But no, I was gonna say, like, when I lived in town and the power would go out, you can still go to the bathroom. But when you get your water from a well, and it depends on electricity for the well pump, if the water goes or if the power goes out, you don't have water for your toilet anymore. And that's roughing it for me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like
I didn't realize that. That would be not
mhm.
fun.
Yeah, so, like, if there's, like, a time period where we're like, "Okay, it could get really stormy tonight," we will, like, pick up a couple gallons of bottled
Mhm.
water,
So,
at the
like,
store. Yeah,
yep.
or, like, fill up a bucket just so that you
Mhm.
can still flush.
Yeah. So we're in the country, but not as much as you are. So, we live, in an area where, like, there's no big cities around us, like, the closest big city would be Louisville, which is, like, an hour away. But we have, like, mid-size cities near us, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from us, and then some smaller cities, smaller towns, like, within 10 minutes of us. So, like, we're in a small, like, country area, but there's still actually a lot of people moving here lately, like, there's a lot of growth in our area, and a lot of people like where I live specifically because you have more of that country, small town feel, but you're super close to still being
The
able to go to
amenities.
Walmart or whatever. Yeah, there are some in our county, there's some more, there's some areas that are more I can't say the word. You say it for me, the R word.
Rural.
Rural,
Rural.
but still not as much as, like, where you live. But
Okay.
our little town doesn't even have a post office,
Oh,
which is
wow.
really weird because I feel like we should. There's towns in our county smaller than ours that have a post
Have a
office, so
post office.
yeah. So we have to our address is, like, the town over from us, and not even in our
Okay.
county, which is weird.
That
So,
is weird.
we had a post office actually, like, back in the late 1800s, so I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, in the late 1800s.
Yep.
Oh, that is funny. Well, we did reach an hour,
Yep.
so I know I wanted to be on task for you because again, I really appreciate you taking time and giving up your Friday night. So, I do hope that you will want to do this again, and we can
Yes.
definitely do it over on your channel. I do
Mhm.
have to interrupt myself. Elizabeth, are you having a hailstorm right now? She lives a couple hours from me to the west. Like I hope you're okay.
Mhm.
I hope your car is okay and your house is okay. Yes, thank you guys so much. I know I appreciate you being here, and I'm sure Kristen does too.
Yes, for sure. It's I'm glad it was sort of a smaller audience to kind of break me into being live because it was really intimidating for me, but now that I've done it, I feel like, "Okay, this isn't so bad. I can do this." And it's fun
Mhm.
to be able to talk with people real time. Like, that makes it
Yes.
so much fun.
Yes. Yes. Well, Elizabeth, please be careful tonight. Stay safe.
Yes, for sure. We had some bad storms a couple weeks ago, and it's always scary. I've always been kind of
Mhm.
tornadoes and stuff like that kinda freaks me out, so
Mhm. Yeah. Again,
yeah, so
another reason that I would not make it as a settler or a pioneer.
yeah, you don't have a basement. Um, so I had someone suggest that I maybe do lives where I work on my temperature blanket and just kinda chat, so I'm kind of
That's not a
considering that.
bad idea.
I don't think I could commit right now to every week. I could do that during summer break
Mhm.
probably, but, even if I did one every couple weeks, I think that would be a lot of fun just to
Well, and
crochet or Mhm.
that might be great for other people who want the accountability too. Like if they're
Yes.
like, "Oh, Kristen's doing this once a month or twice a month or
Yeah,
whatever."
yeah, even if it was once a month, that would, I think
Mhm.
it would
And then
motivate
they could
me
be
and others, hopefully.
yes, yes. Because then at least during that hour you would be working on it.
Exactly, yep. If I could multitask, that would be the thing is because when I've done crochet and chats in the past, I think it's just hard to
It
do both
is.
at once, but I'd get something done at least.
You might get one row done.
Hey, and have fun doing it, so it'd be worth it.
Well, again, thank you guys so much. We will go ahead and pop off here, but we will keep you posted the next time we do one.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shannon, for asking me to do this. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Kristen. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.